Hey guys, here are my UFC 109 predictions. The fights are February 6th in Las Vegas. And as always, you can go to MMAgirls.net. The first person with the most correct predictions gets their choice of a t-shirt from Raw Mall. So, fun little competition we've got going on there. You can also follow me on Twitter at MMAgirls and on Facebook at facebook.com/MMAgirls. So, on to the first prediction, Randy Couture versus Mark Coleman. Two current Hall of Famers. Exciting fight. Kind of wish this was going to, happen years ago, but we have it now, and that's fine, and I'm excited for it. Coleman, a lot of people are thinking that he can beat Randy. He has a win over Bonner. He out-wrestled him, he controlled him, and a lot of people are thinking that he could do the same thing. He could possibly take Randy down, keep on the ground, cause some damage, and possibly grind out a decision. I don't know, it's so hard because this fight to me really could go either way. I can't bet against Randy, I can't bet against Captain America. Every time I do, I end up being wrong, except in the Nogueira fight. It's an interesting fight because if Randy does get taken down, I wonder if he will make Coleman expend more energy, in the sense that more energy than he did with Bonner. It's an interesting fight. I can't bet against Randy. I think he has the edge in the stand-up. He kind of has a very good technique with his Western style boxing. So I'm going to go with Randy by decision, but it could go either way. Coleman could get a decision as well, but I'm going to go with Randy by decision. Next prediction is Nate Marquardt versus Chael Sonnen, and Sonnen's coming over a win over Yushin Okami. He controlled him. He used his wrestling, and he could do the same to Nate. I think that Sonnen's hands are underrated. He has really good boxing, and he has really good fundamentals. Nate, though, has power, and once he hits you and he stuns you, he goes in for the kill. He has that killer instinct, and I don't know, it's an interesting matchup. I'm a fan of Nate, so I want to go with Nate by TKO. I think that he has, even though I think Sonnen has good hands, I think that Nate has the edge in the stand-up, and I think that's what's going to come into play. So I'm picking Nate by TKO. Next prediction, it's kind of crazy lighting because it's raining in LA, so I have like bursts of sun and then bursts of rain, so my lighting's all screwed up. So anyway, next prediction is Mike Swick versus Paulo Thiago. This is the third AKA fighter that Thiago's fought against. The first being Koscheck. He caught Koscheck, but then he lost against Fitch. And, now he's fighting Mike, and Mike doesn't have the wrestling that Koscheck and Fitch do, but I'm sure they're giving him pointers on how to win, and he has obviously really crisp strikes, really good hands, and I was disappointed in his last fight because I picked him to win, and obviously I was disappointed, I was sad, but I think, there's so much pressure on a fighter when you know that a title shot could potentially be on the line, you kind of fight not to lose, and I think that's what was happening. He just wasn't letting his hands go. I think in this fight, though, he is. He's going to be mad, and he's going to come back and show them that he deserves a title shot. So I'm picking Mike Swick by TKO. Okay, I'm trying a different angle. Every single shot is going to be different, thanks to California weather. Next prediction is Damian Maia versus Dan Miller, and Damian is coming off a loss to Nate Marquardt. Damian's a phenomenal jiu-jitsu guy. He submits everyone. He pulls guard, goes for a sweep, submits them. I guess the question is going to be if Dan can stop that, and if he does get a takedown, can he stay on top and avoid getting swept? Can he do some damage? That is the question. I hate betting against Dan Miller because he's really tough. He's good at wrestling. I give him the edge in the striking. And I guess also another question is whether he would use his wrestling to keep the fight standing, which I definitely think he can. It's a really good fight. I'm looking forward to this. I'm actually really excited for this card. Every single fight is exciting. And but I'm going to go with Damian by submission. Even though, Dan could definitely get a TKO, I'm going with Damian by submission. Last prediction is Frank Trigg versus Matt Serra. Serra has the jiu-jitsu, Trigg has the wrestling, and to me, with the stand-up striking, it's anyone's game. Serra's not afraid to stay in the pockets, and, Trigg, wasn't afraid to really trade with Koscheck, and I think it's, like I said, it's anyone's game. I give Trigg the advantage because with wrestling, a wrestler can decide if he can keep the fight standing or take it to the ground, and with that being said, I think that if Trigg takes Serra down, he has to be careful about, not getting submitted. And it should be an interesting fight. I'm going to go with Trig, though, by decision. Woo!